Hi there guys, I hope you are having a good day. Grab yourself a cup of tea and let's talk some boxing now. Dillian Whyte, as we know, will return to the UK on October 30th at the O2 Arena, coming back to his home. That is his arena. He has had some incredible pay-per-view events in that arena, so he will be coming back to the UK. He was previously looking at dates in America, maybe on a Canelo undercard, but that no longer seems to be the case. Now, there are some opponents lined up, such as Chris Arreola, Jermaine Franklin still, and Charles Martin, who has had some choice words about Dillian Whyte returning to the UK instead of going to America. Now, he said that Dillian Whyte takes one step into America, then decides it's not for him, and goes running back to the UK because he knows there is only one thing in the US for him, and that is concussions. So, Charles Martin seems to believe that Dillian Whyte is running from him and other fighters in America. Now, if we just for a moment look at Charles Martin's resume, then compare it to Dillian Whyte, there is a clear difference there. Every time Charles Martin has stepped up against Anthony Joshua, I guess we could say Kaunaki, is that a step up given what happened with his fight with Hellenius? So every time he has, I guess, stepped up, especially against AJ. Look what happened in that one. Then the Kaunaki fight. Look what happened in that one. And I wouldn't even say that Kaunaki should represent a step up, given what happened when he stepped up himself against Hellenius, someone who Dillian Whyte has beaten. So Dillian Whyte beat Hellenius. Hellenius beat Adam Kaunaki beat Charles Martin. So what does that tell you about Charles Martin? I know that styles make fights, and that doesn't necessarily always come down to just because Hellenius can beat Kaunaki, that means that Dillian Whyte can beat Kaunaki and all of that. I know that that comes into it, but when you look at the levels these guys are fighting at, there is a clear difference between those guys and Dillian Whyte, who has a former world champion on his resume in Joseph Parker, 2 wins against Chisora, and also a win over Oscar Rivas, Povetkin as well, another former world champion. And are we realistically going to believe that Kaunaki beats Chisora? This Chisora, the one now, he doesn't beat him. Chisora would beat Kaunaki. Chisora has lost to Hellenius, but then Hellenius did beat Kaunaki. Would Chisora beat Charles Martin? Absolutely. He would give him a nightmare. So Charles Martin needs to try and back up his claims if he's going to say that Dillian Whyte is running away from him. I would say that the only way that Dillian Whyte would turn his back on Charles Martin is because he has bigger fish to fry. I mean, realistically, his opponent on October 30th isn't going to be of the level of Povetkin, Joe Parker. Why would it be? Because he's so close to a world title chance. As long as he stays on this path, he will be hopeful of becoming mandatory in 2022. So it's needless to say, the risks have been taken by Dillian Whyte to get him to where he is. Now he needs to do something for himself and make sure he keeps winning. So whilst that won't represent a keep busy fight on October 30th, it won't be a genuine 50-50 slugfest like it would be if he got back in with Joe Parker. Interestingly enough, Joe Parker seems to believe that Dillian Whyte does not want to face him because he put something up on his social media account saying knock knock, the next one says who's there, then it says again, not Dillian Whyte. Now, Whyte's fought him once before. He fought him coming off of his loss to Anthony Joshua, so he gave him that opportunity. Why would Dillian Whyte do that? Why would he want to face a former world champion who has just been beaten by Anthony Joshua? What does he really gain from that? If he beats him, well, that's the guy who's just lost in his last fight to AJ. And if he loses to Joe Parker, then he's lost to the guy who lost in his last fight to Anthony Joshua. So that would then tell you the level that Dillian Whyte is competing at. So it was a risk that Dillian Whyte did not need to take. It was a risk that he shouldn't have taken, really. He just wanted to fight. He wanted to challenge himself, and that saw him get in the ring with Joe Parker. So he has taken those opportunities to get to this point. Charles Martin hasn't. He won the world title basically by default because his opponent got injured, and in his first defense, look what happened against AJ. Fair enough, coming over to the UK. I do respect that, coming over to the UK, deciding to defend straight away in the Lions Den at the O2 Arena against Anthony Joshua. So I guess he does deserve a little bit of respect for doing that. But in the contest, he was completely out of his depth. And he would be if he got in there with Dillian Whyte, unless he has one contest that tells us otherwise. At the moment, that isn't there. What, the Gerald Washington fight? That's not enough to tell you that he can compete with Dillian Whyte. And Charles Martin wants to make out like Dillian Whyte going over to the US would be extremely bad for him because of what would happen if he started facing fighters over there. Well, look what happened when Charles Martin came over to the UK. He seems to be forgetting about what happened in that contest at the O2 against AJ, and what would happen again if he came over and faced Dillian Whyte. So he does need to get his facts right when talking about something like that, when he seems to believe that levels are different. The top heavyweights in the world are Tyson Fury, Anthony Joshua, Dillian Whyte, British fighters. So he does need to reassess when he's thinking about things like that. And if he's going to put himself on a pedestal and say that he's a level above Dillian Whyte, which he clearly seems to believe, then he needs to prove it. He needs to get in the ring with a top heavyweight, an Andy Ruiz, maybe even a Joe Parker, Derek Chisora, and prove he is of that level. Otherwise, his claims just amount to unfounded nonsense. Anyway, guys, what are your thoughts on this? Make sure you leave your thoughts in the comments below. Also leave a like and grab that subscribe button. Thanks guys.